So, you've got something valuable to sell, a piece of art, some jewelry, a collectible. What's the first thing that pops into your head? For a lot of us, it's the thrill of the auction, right? But here's the big question we're tackling today. Is it a jackpot or is it a trap?
That's what we're digging into in this explainer, the auction gamble. We're going to pull back the curtain on the whole high-stakes world of selling your prized possessions. We'll look at the incredible highs for sure, but maybe more importantly, we're going to expose the hidden lows so you know exactly what you're getting into before that gavel ever comes down. You know the phrase, going, gone? It's so dramatic, so exciting. It conjures up images of a huge payday. But what's really going on behind the scenes, both before and after those famous words are spoken? Let's find out. Okay, so first things first, let's be honest. The appeal of an auction is huge. You can't deny it. There's a very good reason why the big-name auction houses are the first stop for so many people. They've got this incredible, powerful allure.
And it really boils down to a few key things. First off, you've got this incredible global reach. We're talking about putting your item in front of the wealthiest collectors on the planet. Then there's the prestige. I mean, just getting your piece listed at a place like Christie's can instantly make it seem more valuable. And now, with online bidding, literally anyone, anywhere in the world can jump in and start bidding. It feels like a recipe for success.
All right, but, and this is a big but, this is where the shiny veneer starts to crack a little. That glamour comes with a price. And I'm not just talking about the commission. There are all sorts of hidden costs and hurdles that can really catch you off guard.
Let's start with something you might not even think about: timing. If you need to sell something quickly, an auction might be a real problem. The big sales for specific, specialized items, they might only happen twice a year. And if you miss the deadline to get your item in, which could be a month before the sale even happens, you could be stuck waiting 7 long months for the next one.
And then there's this number, 30%. Let that sink in for a second. That's how much the auction house could potentially take from your sale. It's a massive chunk of the final price, but how does that even happen? Where does it all come from? So, check this out. It's kind of clever, actually. The auction house, they get you coming and going. Let's say your item sells for $100 at the Hammer. The buyer might actually pay $115 because of something called the buyer's premium. At the same time, you, the seller, might only get $85 because they take out a seller's commission. The auction house just pocketed $30, taking a piece from both of you. Oh, but it doesn't stop there. Not even close. You're often on the hook for a whole list of other fees. You've got to pay for photography to get your item into the catalog, for advertising, and even for storage. And here's the real kicker. In many cases, you have to pay all of that whether your item sells or not. Look, all those little fees, they're annoying. But they're nothing, and I mean nothing, compared to the single biggest risk you take. Your item just doesn't sell. And the fallout from that failure, well, it's way worse than you might think. So remember all those fees we just talked about? The photography, the cataloging? Well, if the auctioneer slams that gavel down and no one's met your minimum price, poof, that money is gone. You've just spent a ton of time and cash, you've ended up with less money than you started with, and you still own the thing you were trying to get rid of. But just losing that cash, that's not even the worst part, not by a long shot. There's this other thing, a much more serious long-term consequence that people in the industry have a name for: being burnt at sale. This is the absolute nightmare scenario. So what the heck is burnt at sale, or BSA? Well, it's what happens when a one-of-a-kind item flops at a public auction. Back in the day, maybe people would forget. But in our internet age, that failure doesn't just disappear. It leaves a permanent searchable digital scar, a black mark that follows your item around forever. Think of it like a chain reaction, right? Your item doesn't sell. It gets this ugly burnt at sale label. The online record makes that failure public to anyone with a search engine. So now, any future buyer who does their homework is going to find that history, and what are they going to think? What's wrong with this thing? Why did nobody else buy it? That doubt alone can poison the well and tank its value. And here's the part that's truly terrifying. This can all happen, and it might have absolutely nothing to do with you or how great your item is. Sometimes it's just pure, rotten luck. I mean, just look at this as a case study. Picture it. It's late 2008. The auction houses have already printed their beautiful catalogs for the big November sales, with all the prices and estimates set in stone. Then, bam! The entire global economy just implodes. The auctions had to go on as planned, and an unbelievable 40% of the items failed to sell.
Overnight, they were all burnt at sale because of a global event nobody could control.
And look, you don't need a once-in-a-century financial crisis to sink your sale. It could be something as simple as the auction house setting the reserve price a little too high, or maybe the key bidders just hesitate for a split second too long, or, maybe the right collectors just didn't happen to be in the room or watching online that specific day. Any of those things can be enough to get your item branded burnt at sale.
Okay, so with all this risk, all this uncertainty, you have to be asking, is there another way? A path that gives you certainty instead of just chance? Well, it turns out there is.
For anyone who's listening to all this and thinking, no way, there are other options, like a direct sale. It's a completely different approach. You're basically deciding to prioritize speed, a guaranteed price, and total transparency over the high-risk, high-reward roll of the dice at an auction.
And when you put them side by side, the difference is just stark. With an auction, you're looking at months of waiting, a completely uncertain price, and a ton of fees. With a direct sale, the transaction is immediate. The price is 100% guaranteed and agreed on upfront, and there are no hidden costs. It's really that simple, chance versus certainty.
So in the end, it all comes down to one question you have to ask yourself. What kind of player are you? Are you the type to go all in, to gamble for that massive, life-changing jackpot, even if it means you could go bust? Or do you prefer the peace of mind that comes with walking away with a guaranteed win in your pocket? The choice, as they say, is yours.